What does it mean to be mentally tough in a world that constantly tests your patience, your values, your focus, and your strength? When everything around you is urging you to take the easy path to avoid pain, to pursue comfort, to seek distraction, what does it take to stand still and face discomfort with calm resolve? To endure what others run from? To remain clear-headed when life becomes chaotic? The Stoics knew, over 2,000 years ago, long before modern psychology gave us terms like grit and resilience. Ancient philosophers were already laying the foundation for what we now call mental toughness. To them, it wasn't about being emotionless or indifferent. It was about mastery over the self, about the ability to remain grounded in virtue and principle no matter what the external world throws at you. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, wrote to himself daily about the importance of preparing for difficulty. He didn't wake up expecting peace. He expected resistance, harsh words, betrayal, fatigue, discomfort, and by preparing for them, he was never caught off guard. He trained his mind not to rely on good fortune, but on inner strength. That's where mental toughness begins, with the understanding that suffering is not something to fear. It is not the enemy. Pain, challenge, adversity, these are the environments where your character is forged. Most people will try to avoid these experiences at all costs. The Stoic, however, walks into them with open eyes. The Stoic doesn't ask, "How can I avoid pain?" but rather, "How can I become stronger because of it?" Mental toughness is not just a decision, it's a discipline, one that must be practiced daily. It begins with controlling the narrative inside your head. Epictetus, once a slave, taught that we are not disturbed by things, but by the views we take of things. In other words, reality doesn't destroy us, our interpretation of reality does. When your car breaks down, it's not the car that ruins your day, it's your reaction. When someone insults you, it's not their words that rob you of peace, it's your judgment of those words. A mentally tough person trains their mind to pause, to insert space between stimulus and response. They do not react impulsively, they respond intentionally, and over time, this builds strength. Now, how do you cultivate this strength? First, you must develop awareness. Before you can master your mind, you have to observe it. Watch how you speak to yourself. Are you constantly doubting your ability? Are you catastrophizing every setback? Are you letting small inconveniences disturb your entire day? The Stoic begins by stepping back and watching the internal dialogue. Journaling is one of the best tools for this. It's not just a reflection, it's a form of training. When you write, you untangle thought. You bring light to your mental habits. You begin to notice patterns that were once invisible. Second, practice voluntary hardship. The Stoics would intentionally expose themselves to discomfort, not out of masochism, but out of preparation. Seneca wrote about sleeping on the floor, eating plain food, wearing simple clothes, not because he had to, but to remind himself that he could. Today, this could look like taking cold showers, waking up before sunrise, fasting for a day, or doing difficult physical training. These are not punishments, they are reminders. They train you to be the kind of person who is not controlled by luxury or comfort, who knows that they can endure less than perfect conditions and still thrive. Third, shift your focus away from what you feel like doing and toward what you ought to do. This is where mental toughness truly takes root. Discipline is doing what's right, not what's easy. The Stoic understands that motivation will fail, emotions will fluctuate, but principles remain. And so you build your day around what aligns with your values, not with your moods. You wake up and meditate, not because you're in the mood, but because clarity matters. You show up to your responsibilities, not because it's convenient, but because consistency builds character. You train your body, not for vanity, but because a strong body supports a strong mind. This is how you become someone who does not crumble under pressure, because pressure is part of your training. Fourth, accept what you cannot control. This is perhaps the most essential aspect of Stoic toughness. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Most people waste energy resisting reality. They complain about the weather. They stew over the past. They panic about the future. But the Stoic directs energy only to what is within their grasp, their actions, their thoughts, their response. This doesn't mean apathy. It means clarity. You stop arguing with the unchangeable. You let go of the illusion of control. And when you do, something shifts. You stop being the victim of circumstance, and you become the architect of your response. Fifth, embrace the long game. Mental toughness isn't about being perfect. Today it's about showing up again tomorrow. It's about delayed gratification, about being okay with slow progress, about doing the work even when there's no immediate reward. The Stoic isn't chasing instant results. They're building a legacy, one small decision at a time. And they understand the world might not notice their strength, but that's not why they're strong. They're strong so they can carry the weight of life without breaking, so they can lead by example, so they can be the calm in the storm, the light in the dark, the steady presence when everyone else is falling apart. That's mental toughness, not loud, not dramatic, but steady, unshakable, earned through effort, strengthened by hardship, guided by virtue. If you want to be truly strong, don't build a persona, build a foundation. Don't rely on motivation, rely on principle. Don't chase ease, embrace the necessary struggle. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, awareness over impulse, acceptance over resistance, you are shaping your mind into something that cannot be broken. And that is the Stoic way.